Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we're doing the crossword for Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. So, did you do the crossword?
I did do the crossword.
And did you find it to be an engaging Saturday crossword?
Oh, I wish I'd done it on Saturday.
Oh.
I did it on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't let it go. You know, I have to keep going till I get it done, which was stupid because I stayed up way too late trying to figure it out.
But did you get it done?
Yeah, I did.
Well done.
Well into the evening, early morning hours.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I don't even try at that time of night because I can usually get to a point where I can tell there's just no gas left in the tank. And it's pointless to just sort of stare at the grid and just keep hoping that something's going to fall into place.
Right.
Knowing that if I tried it in the morning, probably in 10 seconds, I would see where my mistake was.
Right.
So that's what I usually go for. But I found this to be very, very difficult.
Oh, me too. I thought it was really difficult.
I mean, there were multiple places where I just was naticked. Like, for instance, one across, style of Duchamp's so-called readymades, Dada. I don't know what most of the words in that sentence mean, but in any event, and then that crossed with one down, style influenced by Cubism, informally, Deco.
That's right.
I'm betting you knew Deco.
I did know Deco.
Oh, that's
yes.
good. And that probably helped you a lot then because you would have had the E of the start of 14 across, blank blue, original team color of the Chelsea Football Club.
Right. Eton blue.
Eton blue. I figured it was, first I thought it would be aqua blue. Which probably isn't a thing. Then I thought it would be teal blue.
Yes. I put navy before I put anything.
That's better.
I wasn't doing the downs. But yeah, I put navy, but of course that didn't go too far.
Yeah, if I was just doing the acrosses, I couldn't have gotten anywhere. I mean, I got to the first across and can't do it. And then I went to the first down and couldn't do that one. The next one over, 2 down, was volumes. And I confidently thought lots, but it was a ton.
A ton, yeah. I know that could have been so many things because it also could have been like
books.
Yeah.
Well, it's plural. You'd have to have a 4-letter word that was plural for books.
Right, but it was a ton.
A ton.
A ton.
The one next to it, when I finally got it, because I think I had a couple of the crosses, 3 down, stay still, don't move a muscle.
Right.
That was a confidence builder because it ran the entire height of the crossword.
Right, yes. And I got it with not too many letters. I was very proud of myself on that one. Not so much on any of the other long down answers, but that one came pretty quickly to me.
Well, I just sort of kept looking for places where I could answer something, and I think it was in the bottom that I sort of found it. So I think I had muscles and then worked up to don't move a muscle.
Yeah, I had the U, I know, and I think I had maybe the M, but I thought, it looks like muscle. Don't move a muscle. So yeah.
Yeah, that M of muscle was part of 43 across. Excellent, average, or bad, depending on the context. Mean.
Right.
That was great.
That was a wonderful clue.
Yes. Really very observant.
Very good.
The one right under it, 48 across, massive hockey arena in St. Petersburg, Russia. I looked at that and said, come on. Just give me a break.
Right. And that one was right above 53 across. Company that owns Words with Friends, and they both crossed with 30 down. The magic in some mushrooms.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm going to have to give up on this. I don't know any of those, but I sussed them out, but it took a long time. But that's where I really got messed up. I just was like, oh. I don't know.
Right. Well, even that, I mean, if we break that down, the first letter, 29 across, which would have given us the P of psilocybin, however that's pronounced, was set units. And I'm like, set units. I started thinking about a television.
Oh.
And I knew it was starting with an R, so I was thinking like RADs, which doesn't really have anything to do with television, or REMs. It was reps.
Yes, I was thinking of like tennis games. Aren't those sets that they play?
They are.
And so I was thinking of something maybe related to sports.
Right.
But yeah, it turned out to be reps.
Well, that's sort of, I mean, that's like exercise, right? So it's sort of related to sports, I guess.
Kind of, but not
really. The S was part of 32 across on the topic of, and I went for speaking of.
Yes.
But I realized that it couldn't have been of because they had of in the clue.
Right.
And it turned out to be addressing.
That's right.
That took me a bit.
Yeah, everything took me a bit.
Well, and the one beneath it, I think we've had this before, 39 across, classic Langston Hughes poem quoted on a wall of the National Museum of African American History and Culture, I Too.
I Too, yes.
And that was not a debut, so we must have seen that before.
Yeah, we've had that before.
We also, speaking of African American history, we had 31 across, modern initialism for black dialect, AAVE.
Yes.
I think that's what? African American vernacular.
English.
Oh, okay.
African American vernacular English.
That makes more sense than just using the VE for vernacular.
Yeah.
We had then underneath that, like the Muddy Waters album at Newport 1960, 42 across. That was live.
Yep.
That was as close to a gimme.
It was like, what else could it be?
Right.
I had the V, and I thought, oh, it's live.
Yes, actually, I take it back. The real gimme was 35 down. Cosmic Explosion, Nova.
Yeah.
Well, I was even doubting that for a while. and then 44 across, which gives us the O of psilocybin, was ornate water heater. And I'm like, I think we've seen this before. The answer turned out to be samovar.
That's correct, yes.
Which I was like, okay, is it a samovar? Samivar? It could be like any of the vowels.
No.
But it was an O, samovar.
That's correct, yes.
And then Zynga, 53 across, the company that owns Words with Friends. Zynga?
I'd never heard of that.
No. I don't think the people who work at Zynga have ever heard of it. And so I was like, okay, A-E-I-O-U, because those are the vowels. I forgot about the Y.
Yeah, I had Zanga in there for a long time.
Yeah, Zanga sounded good. And then I thought Zynga. I thought zing. And, I figured it was going to be pronounced psilocybin. So I was perfectly content with leaving an I in there. But it turned out to be a Y.
Yep.
Beneath that, we had a 62 across, angled for attention, question mark, and a BRA, abbreviation, and that was Ital.
Yes, that took me a long time, and then it was like, oh, you sort of hit your forehead like, oh, yeah, italic.
No, my brain was suffering enough. I'm not going to hit it. It's not going to make the answers come out any faster.
Right.
Then we had 65 across, bird whose diet includes berries that grow on lava, a nini.
Right.
And I
kind of figured that one out because I thought, well, where are there volcanoes? And I thought, well, Hawaii, New Zealand, and that's where ninnies are. So yeah, that kind of came together just from my knowledge of geography.
Mine came because 54 down, the 2023 Pulitzer Prize winning biography of J. Edgar Hoover, G-Man.
Right.
So I had the last N, and then 55 across, up to something. Able, which I thought was a great
55 down. Yeah.
55 down, able. And so I had the last NE.
Right. And it's like, what else could it be?
Well, I'm already thinking of knee, so I thought, how about another knee? So I have Nini. We had 50 down. Fix up was patch.
Yep.
That wasn't too difficult.
Pretty straightforward. I did not know 24 down, but I eventually got it. It was annual Atlanta gathering of sci-fi gaming fans, Dragon Con.
Yes.
So
I had the con, and then I had enough letters that I thought it could be dragon, but I figured it was in Atlanta, so I thought it was going to have something to do with peaches.
Oh, Peaches Con.
The Peach Con.
Dragon. I wonder where they settled on that. Sci-fi gaming.
Well, dragons, science fiction, gaming. Dragons are always hanging around those sorts of folks.
Okay.
And they are my people, by the way. I should point that out. although I was embarrassed with 23 across, telepathic connections. So first I was thinking about ESP, and then I had enough. I thought, oh, it's meld minds. And that didn't work. And then I realized, oh, it's mind melds.
It had to be mind melds.
Well, I thought
Remember Spock?
Of course I remember Spock.
Meld.
Yes. I practice those all the time. But, you meld minds when you do a mind meld. So, I don't know. I just had enough. That's the order in which the words occurred to me. And then I had to go in and edit.
We had 4 answers that ran the width of the puzzle. And we already talked about don't move a muscle.
Right.
But 17 across, it's not as random as it seems. Controlled chaos.
Yes.
And then we had 11 down. Prelude to good news. On a positive note.
Yep.
And finally, I think this is my favorite, 56 across. Plot device in some suspense thrillers. Ticking time bomb.
Yes.
Is that a debut?
Let's see here. Controlled chaos was.
Yeah.
Ticking time bomb was.
I thought that was. I never remembered seeing something like that.
By the way, so was Mind Melds and Dragon Con.
Oh,
And even 19 down. Early Netflix offering was a DVD rental.
Yep.
Which reminds me, next to that, we had 9 down. They protect some software purchases, CD cases.
Right.
I thought it was going to be something like licenses or something. But I can't remember the last time I bought software in a CD case. One of the reasons is none of our computers have CD players anymore.
Not anymore.
So we couldn't read them. I suppose we could hold it up in front of it and say, "Here, software, eat." But yeah, I mean, it's been ages since I've used a CD or a DVD for anything, for that matter. So, yes, this was a splendid crossword. It was by Katie Hoodie, her third. She has done 2 Saturdays and a Thursday. I presume the Thursday was sort of a warm-up. And, yeah, it was a tough crossword. But well done. Really, really, I mean, each one of those clues, they made you work for it.
That's right.
For the longest time, I didn't think I was going to get through this at all. And when I got the grid actually filled out, I'm like, I managed to find the answer for every one of these. So,
Right.
All right. Well, that is it for the crossword, but it is Saturday, which means it's time for the JAMCR, the Gene and Mike Crossword of the Week Award, where we go back through the crosswords of the previous week and identify what we deem to be the very best. And this week we picked
the pretty obvious one when you think about our podcast and how long we talked about things.
Yes.
Thursday.
Right.
Thursday's puzzle with the Schrodinger cat theme by Daniel Grinberg.
Yes.
Where Daniel had some circled squares in various across answers, and it was circled because you could put either one or the other of a letter, and it would still be correct. And there was a little hint in the same line as those circled squares that told you what you should put in there. So, for example, we had 24 across, green-skinned Marvel hero with the first square circled. And right next to that, we had 27 across, word processing function, and a clue to the circled square in this row. The answer to that was sort, but the clue was you have to say S or T, which means you could put an S in that first square or you could put a T in that first square, and they'd both be right. And of course, the green-skinned Marvel hero was either the Hulk or She-Hulk.
Yes.
So, absolutely mind-boggling as far as I was concerned.
Yes, because they also work with the downs.
And yes,
I think that's the magic of it.
Yes, all of those worked with the downs. The downs also only had one clue, but both letters would solve that clue.
Right.
With the example of the She-Hulk and the Hulk, that circled square was in 24 across, but also 24 down, which was hot blank. And that could be hot take or hot sake.
Yes.
So yeah, worked both ways.
And they had to do that 4 times.
Yep.
Just a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, it would have really taken a lot of, a lot of work.
Right.
So more work than I think I could do.
So well done, Daniel.
Yep.
And if you feel so inclined, drop us a line, crosswordpodcast@icloud.com, and send us some contact information, and we will have some magnificent Northeast Wisconsin swag. Can't find it anywhere else, winging its way towards you in no time.
And a classic, Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword T-shirt.
Yes.
For your wearing pleasure.
A collectible.
You betcha.
You would be one of a very small,
very, very small.
elite group of people who possess that T-shirt.
So send your size.
Yeah, indeed. And for anyone else who wants to get a hold of us, you can do exactly what we're hoping Daniel will. Drop us a line, crosswordpodcast@icloud.com, or click on the send fan mail link.
Yep.
That is it for today. Wrapping up this week of Fine Crosswords. But there's always next week, and there's a Sunday that's out. We're going to solve it. We hope, or at least we're going to try and solve it.
Yep.
We hope you will too. And we'll be back to talk about that tomorrow.
Bye-bye.